Hello, Grant. I had a Disney day the other day where I went and saw a double feature of Saving Mr. Banks and the new Disney animated film Frozen. So I thought I'd just let you know a little bit about what my thoughts are on both of those films. First off, let's start with Mr. Banks, Saving Mr. Banks. This is the retelling of the making of Mary Poppins and how it almost didn't happen. The author, P.L. Travers, was a little bit in a fight with Walt Disney himself as he tried to secure the rights, because she did not want to have animation in it, she didn't want to have really singing and dancing in it. She was very, very tied, and she was very, very precious about the creations that she had made, and she didn't want that ruined by the so-called Disney magic. Now, this was made by Disney. This isn't really a warts and all representation of that time. This is a very Disney-fied film because it's showing the company in a good light. So you kind of have to look at this in either one of two ways. You either have to say, I'm going to look at this just as a film, or you have to say, I need to look at this as a historical document. Because whichever way you want to look at it, I think you're going to have different opinions on it. If you were to look at it as a historical document, this film fails completely. And that's really too bad. Having known what the actual story was behind this movie, it is completely whitewashed what happened. P.L. Travers hated the Mary Poppins movie that was made from her books, and she refused to work with Disney ever again. You will not get that impression having watched this movie. So if you want to review it from that angle, then this movie is a fail. However, if you were to step back and look at it just as a movie, it's alright, it's good, it's very, again, a Disney-fied film, so it's a feel-good family film, and if you have any tie whatsoever with the Mary Poppins movie, there's a lot to love about this. Seeing the history of them making the movie, seeing the Sherman Brothers compose their music, seeing Tom Hanks in this Walt Disney role is great. Emma Thompson does a phenomenal job playing P.L. Travers. She's probably the highlight of the film, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's nominated in the Best Actress category. Almost forgot what acting was there for a second. There's a lot to like, but I don't think it ever, reaches the level of Mary Poppins, nor does it ever really rise to the level of a great film either. This is just a very generic, nice family film. So about a 3 or maybe 3.5 out of 5 is what I would give that. However, let's now talk about Frozen, which is this great return of Disney animated features. There's a part of me that really liked Tangled, but I think it fell apart a lot in some of the storytelling it had, and it had only really one great song, whereas Frozen is really this great princess film that Disney is famous for doing. It's a musical, it's everything that Disney used to be, and I think that's why it's in part afraid to market it that way, where they really do think that boys are not going to be like, it's a movie about girls, I can't like this, and maybe there's a bit of truth to that, but if you've seen any of the trailers or the teaser trailers for this film, it is not selling it in the right way whatsoever. I really liked Frozen. More than I even thought I was going to. I just kept hearing good things after good things, and it's a retelling of the Ice Queen. I believe Hans Christian Andersen, maybe the Grimm brothers. Be that as it may, it is something a little bit unique for Disney in that part of the theme that it's talking about is that love at first sight is ridiculous. It's not something true. It's really going back into Disney canon saying, all those times where it's like they met and they saw across the hallway and they just fell in love and the whole movie was about that? That is bunk. That is not how true love is. And then it and then it's a sister story as well. I don't know. I'm babbling and going all over the place because I really, really fell in love with this movie. It also has a bit of a twist halfway through it where you think that you know who the antagonist is, and then you don't actually know who the antagonist is. It flips it a little bit. Like I said, the music is great. There's just some great songs in here. They didn't really focus on finding one like a big name. Big names if you know who Broadway stars are, because they got a lot of they got Idina Menzel, Jonathan Groff, and then they have Kristen Bell as the other role. All do fantastic job of singing. That is where my one criticism comes in, though. The first half of this movie is chock full of great songs. The second half, not so much. There's one. And apparently that was partly due because they rewrote the last half of this movie, and so they didn't have time to write songs into the movie, which is too bad. The only other thing I really wish that this movie deserves to be, even though there's some phenomenal animation, 3D animation in this, I really wish this was a 2D animated film. And I don't know if Disney's ever going to go back to 2D animated films. I really hope it does. But just like it's all frozen out here, I'm freezing my fingers off doing this review. Frozen is a great movie. You should go and see it. Like, honestly, full stop. Go and watch that movie. 4.5 out of 5. Like, it's really on the cusp there. I couldn't recommend higher enough. Go and see Frozen. Maybe wait to rent Saving Mr. Banks. I wouldn't rush off into the theaters to actually go and see that. Those are my 2 reviews this week. Thank you, Grant, for listening to me babble along. If you're not Grant, if you want to listen to our podcast together, you can do that. Links in the description below. Also a link over to the trailer for both of these films. I'll see you next time, Grant.